Hey everybody, welcome to Solving Standard. I'm Corbin Hostler, and this is Big Red. I'm very excited about this deck. I've been working on this thing all day long, and I'm not sure if it's going to be the best deck in the world or what have you, but it has been pretty solid for me thus far. So what we want to do is control the game with our mostly red deck. We do have some black in here, but we just want to control the game and... Okay, now mark the lookout. I see ya. Sweep the board, clear out these creature decks, and eventually win with the ramp, right? We have treasure to ramp us into Chandras, into Glory Bringers, into Sunbirds and Vacations, and so on. Now, we are looking here at, let's see, you're stopping my opponent's turn, at Mono Black Aggro, I assume. So this is a deck we do have some sweepers against. If we hit lands in this one, I think we'll actually be okay. I'm going to go ahead and abrade this thing. Maybe this is sort of a calculated risk here. If they have Aethersphere Harvesters to follow up, it's worse, but Scrap Heap Scrounger is a real problem here, and that's what I wanted to save Magma Spray for. As it turns out, we'll have to use it on the Siphoner, but that's fine. As long as we hit lands, I feel good about this game. That is unfortunately not a land, so we'll see what we can do on our next turn here. If our opponent plays a threat and we follow up with Chandra, I'm going to feel great about where we're at, but if we don't hit a land and we're stuck with all these 4 and 5 drops in our hand, that's going to be pretty rough. Another Glint Sleeve, okay. Land? Land? Come on, deck. Give me... Yes, that's how we do it right there. Alright, so this is suddenly looking very good for us now. We get to play Chandra, take out the Glint Sleeve Siphoner, and now our opponent has to answer Chandra with a haste creature. It seems probably unlikely. They could have Yahini and take down Chandra, and then we'll need to draw land again. But if they don't, and we get to just pump out Glory Bringers here, things are going to be looking pretty good for us. Hardy Kieran, nice answer. Oh, but no creature yet. All right. In that case, well then, I believe that I'm just going to play a Wily Goblin. I'm going to make mana with Chandra. I'm going to play Rekindling Phoenix. All right, I would say this is looking pretty good here. Now we're going to untap no matter what with mana for at least one of these Glory Bringers thanks to the treasure. And we have a blocker for Heart of Kiran. And you know what? A pretty good blocker for Heart of Kiran. Trades with it, gives us back our token, which if we untap with it, immediately returns Rekindling Phoenix to play. This card is, I won't say overlooked because it has shot up since the bannings in Standard, but this card is pretty powerful. Especially when you can, and we didn't ramp it out in this game, but you can ramp it out on turn 3 in this deck. Alright, so Ruin Raider, the Heart of Kiran, I assume. But you know what? That's fine for us. None of what is happening is bad for us at all. Our opponent will get to draw a card off Ruin Raider. Then we're going to Glory Bringer it down. And this thing's going to swing pretty fast for us. Alright, Heart of Kiran coming in at Chandra. But it is going to fall here to Rekindling Phoenix. Now, this is just so good. We get our Elemental token on our turn. We're going to have Rekindling Phoenix back, or they're going to Fatal Push the token. But look at that. We just 2-for-1 to our opponent with Rekindling Phoenix. Grasping... I don't even know what Grasping Scoundrel is. Oh, okay, sure. This is all pretty bad for our opponent, though. That's the good news here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play the Wily Goblin. Should be free to just go ahead and play this, and we can Chandra for mana again. See, this is what I'm talking about with this deck. The ability, it's basically the most overlooked ability of Chandra, is simply to provide mana. It is a big boost when you can keep it alive and untap with it. And you know what? It turns out you can build a deck with all the removal available to red right now. You can build a deck to untap with Chandra, and there are some bombs in red, and you know, to a lesser extent in this case black, but or white, whatever you know you decide is your your payoff is going to be. This game was just a clinic in Big Red, though. Another Glory Bringer coming in to seal the deal here. All right, our opponent scoops. Yep, that's exactly what I built this deck to do right there. Now we get to move on to the sideboard, Mono Black Aggro. This is where we want the Sweltering Suns, probably the Hour of Devastations, the Magma Spray for sure, maybe 1 Hour of Devastation. Gleaming Barrier, I think, is pretty good here. So this is where we do cut some of the top end, right? We don't need as much of this stuff, so don't mind cutting some of that. cutting the pillage usually goes out. In this, we're definitely just the control deck, right? We just want to destroy everything our opponents do, and we have a lot of good cards to do that. Nice part, too, about Gloomy Barrier, by the way, is it does not fall to Sweltering Suns. I don't think we need the Duress. Duress is almost tempting because they do play things we can get with it, but I don't think it's strictly needed. You know, the only problem with our deck, and we have a lot of 2-drops, and that's good, and some of them make mana, the 3-drops as well. I think we can cut a Lannery Storm on the draw here and get a Gear Hulk back in. So the thing about this deck is it's got a lot of expensive cards, and you will certainly lose games to just drawing all your expensive cards. But fortunately, between Treasure Map and Wily Goblin and Lannery Storm, even to an extent, there are ways to mitigate it. And sometimes you just get hands that look pretty good like this. This hand has a plan. It doesn't have a sweeper, which is what we would obviously prefer, but we have removal for the first couple turns here, especially since our opponent did not have a 1-drop. All right, well, sometimes you just have it all, right? There's a Sweltering Suns. All right, this is good. So we'll see what our opponent has here. I wouldn't be surprised if they run more things to interact with us and not just go the straight beatdown route. Yeah, we're going to braid that. Another Sweltering Suns. All right, so at this point, all I want is mana, particularly black mana. So we can abrade the Heart of Kieran when it comes in, and we can Sweltering Suns the creatures after that. But we do obviously need to hit some lands to, you know, build towards this Rekindling Phoenix and Noxious Gearhulk plan. Yeah, that's Scrap Heap Scrounger. So right now I wouldn't mind a Magma Spray either. All right, well. You know what? I actually should have... I messed this up a little bit here. Let this be a lesson. You should abrade in response, because now this thing could get Supernatural Stamina and come back. It didn't, but that's worth noting. Ooh, Bone Picker. That's pretty good. Problem for our opponent is that we don't have lands, so that's not great. But we are just going to Sweltering Suns. Sort of a 2-for-1. He gets rid of our opponent's creatures, but the Scrap Heap Scrounger will likely be back. If we can just hit land here and play Rekindling Phoenix, that would be great. Basically, if I can just draw 3 more lands, one of them being Dragon Skull Summit, that's all I want to happen right now. Night Market Lookout. Okay, whatever. And there's the Harvester. Well, the Harvester is the scary one here. And get immediately pinged, sure. Land? Okay. Deck is working with us today. I appreciate it. Thanks, Magic Online. All right, there you go. That is an answer, sort of, kind of, I guess, to Aethersphere Harvester. It won't take out the Harvester, and I guess we lose life to the Lookout in the process here. But it does sort of block it indefinitely unless our opponent then burns removal on our token. And given what we're building towards here, I think we'll be okay. We'll just kill our opponent's creatures. All right, our opponent has 2 cards in hand. They could certainly Fatal Push our token, which, you know, puts us back in a spot that isn't exactly where we want to be, but we're still in a pretty solid position if we can just hit a few lands here. Yeah, Fatal Push on the token. Land? Not a land. Well, fair enough. I guess I'll just go ahead and burn this. We have plenty of Sweltering Suns. May as well take out the Night Market Lookout. Our opponent only has 1 card in hand, so they have to draw creatures to even be able to get in there. Also, I'll note that we are at 18 life against Mono Black Aggro on the draw. This is where you want to be. This deck can definitely... All right, Scrounger's back. You know, we're going to get beat down here, but this deck can definitely punish these slower decks. Or, I'm sorry, the slow decks. These aggro decks, these creature-based decks. And this Scrap Heap Scrounger is definitely going to be a concern, but if we can just hit land and Glorybringer away the Siphoner, that would be a nice start. We can just go land, curve Glorybringer into Gearhulk. That would be a nice position to be in. That, unfortunately, will not do it. What I am going to do here is cut the Scrap Heap Scrounger. There's not a creature in the graveyard. Oh, there is. There's a Bone Picker. I don't think we can actually afford to play Treasure Map and cut here, because we don't want to let our opponent draw cards either. I think I just have to play the other Sweltering Suns. Well, the deck worked with us for a while, but now we're running into some mana troubles. I still feel like we probably have a turn to draw a land. You know, the Scrounger is still going to get its beat down on. We can also just draw Magma Spray. Or we, yeah, that's pretty good for our opponent there. We can draw Magma Spray. We can draw Gleaming Wall, whatever that thing's called. That would be pretty good. Gleaming Barrier, I believe. Down to 5 life, though, so not in a great spot. If we just draw on some land, we'd be fine, but we weren't quite able to do that. It's probably our last turn to find some. Whew, yep. Well, there's the Magma Spray. Unfortunately, it's probably too late. We'll go ahead and cut the Night Market Lookout. Well, yeah, we'll cut the Night Market Lookout here. Magma Spray, the Scrap Heap Scrounger. I'd say things still look pretty bad for us. We were just a turn late on finding either Magma Spray or land. I think you probably actually want access to the 4th Magma Spray in the sideboard for this matchup where they have both Dread Wanderer and Magma Spray. I'm sorry, and Scrap Heap Scrounger. Looks like we probably want our opponent to have nothing, and then we want to draw a Braid for the Harvester. It's probably our only out here. No, we just don't have outs anyways. All right. Well, we didn't quite get there in that game. We couldn't ever find a 5th mana. But that's all right. We'll move on to the sideboard here. We're going to be on the play this time around. All right. I think on... I think we can probably cut the Hour of Devastation. I haven't seen Yahenni from our opponent. Certainly could have it, though. We could almost cut Glorybringer. Our opponent has a million small creatures, most of which are recursive. Glorybringer is actually just one of our worst threats. It's certainly good, but one of the worst. That game we were 1 land, or that Magma Spray a couple turns earlier off from turning that one around. All right, this is a keep, though. Wily Goblins are pretty good. If this hand... you know, I'm playing 23 lands in this deck. It is possible, I won't lie, it's possible that 24 is the correct number with how many expensive cards we have. But you have to also account for the treasure, so it's hard to say. And there's a Night Market Lookout. And the nice part also about these Wily Goblins is if our opponent doesn't have, you know, if they're just playing on attacking with Night Market Lookout, Wily Goblin trades with it pretty effectively. Wow, it looks like we may actually have that opportunity as well. Okay. Magic Online didn't let me. Okay, I guess I misclicked through that, so that's pretty unlucky. Whatever, I guess. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. Alright, so we will go ahead and play this Wily Goblin. That's actually pretty annoying, Magic Online. I must have just clicked through it. Oh, well. Well, we can use a treasure here to get the Scrap Heap Scrounger out. Okay. I'm in blockers. I'd like to block. I'm not going to double block. I'm just going to block with the 1 here. Wait if our opponent has supernatural stamina. We can keep our guy. Okay. Fair enough. All right. We will Magma Spray Scrap Heap Scrounger here. All right. We get rid of the Night Market Lookout. We're in an okay position. Just need to find some lands here. As usual. Feel like I'm saying that quite a bit. Bone Picker, sure. We can cut that thing. As long as we find some lands off the top of the deck here. Okay, well, Magic Online was so good to us in that first game and not very good to us in this the second and third games. We do have the ability technically to cast Sweltering Suns if we need to here. But we'll see what we can come up with, what our opponent's working with. Heart of Kirin. Okay. That's not going to be easy to beat. Oh, there's the land. It's unfortunate. That does occasionally happen. You have to play the tap lands because that's just what the deck requires in order to make the black mana work, but there are some unfortunate occasions where it gets you like that. Here's a Bone Picker. All right, well, that will crew the Heart of Kirin. Our opponent only has one card in hand, so, you know, we're not in a perfect spot here, but we're not out of the game yet either, especially if this is a land. Okay. There's a land. Now I can just play Glorybringer. We can exert. We can take out the Bone Picker. All right, here we go. So our opponent can bring back the Dread Wanderer, depending on what they have in hand. Yeah, they can do that. But we have Rekindling Phoenix, we have Noxious Gearhulk, and we're finally on the way to those things, and we have the double black. And we're going to untap with a Glorybringer here, in theory, in a minute. All right, there we go. All right, so our opponent has now no lands or no cards in hand, and we have a Rekindling Phoenix. So, you know, in every other game we've played this Phoenix and our opponent's been able to Fatal Push the token. Now our opponent just has nothing good to look at here in terms of dealing with Phoenix. It gets to eat a Dread Wanderer. And, you know, that's sort of a neutral play for our opponent, but in that they can bring it back. But it's not exactly a great play for them. Especially if they just want to trade it for the Heart of Kirin. I assume this means they drew Fatal Push or something, but that's fine. Uh-oh, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Oh, Thief near Deadlands. Okay, sure. Fair enough. All right, there's a Wily Goblin. Wily Goblin matches up, by the way, pretty well against Dread Wanderer. I see no reason to do anything but just actually attack with our Glorybringer. We have plenty of life. Let's just clock our opponent for 4 a turn here. Kill him in a few turns. Also, we get to play Noxious Gearhulk on our next turn. All right, Wily Goblin will, you know, quote-unquote trade with a Dread Wanderer, but if our opponent spends most of their turn just bringing back a Dread Wanderer, that's pretty decent for us. Yeah, okay, Dread Wanderer has returned. And Ruin Raider. Okay, well, that's pretty decent for our opponent. It is, however, going to get Noxious Gearhulk here. I could play Sunbird's Invocation. I could also play Sweltering Suns. That might be better, actually. I think we just play Sweltering Suns. It doesn't destroy our Glorybringer. We get to attack. On the other hand, it puts our opponent at 10. On the other hand, playing Noxious Gearhulk here, we attack our opponent down to 10. The next turn we have 9 damage. I mean, 9 damage isn't lethal, so I do kind of lean towards just slowing our opponent down as much as possible with the Sweltering Suns. It essentially time walks them because now they have to spend their entire turn just bringing these back. It also doesn't burn up our treasure, which may or may not matter. But it doesn't change the clock, and it means we take less damage, and we get to preserve Noxious Gearhulk if our opponent plays something better. Walk the plank. All right, walk the plank. Now the Dread Wanderer comes back. Yeah, and we draw Cut to Ribbons, huh? And we have... Oh, it's also worth noting we have Cut to Ribbons in the graveyard. Yeah, I think there's no reason not to just play Noxious Gearhulk here. Somewhat tempting to try to get greedy and play the Invocation. I don't think it's correct. I think we just play Noxious Gearhulk. Our opponent dies in 2 turns this way. In fact, yes, they're dead in 2 turns. So they need another walk the plank to deal with this. Yeah, Scrounger, huh? Not bad. A braid, also not bad. All right, so I think we're just going to cut the Scrounger. Get on in there with Noxious Gearhulk. Put our opponent to 5. So the real question is if I ribbons here for 1. I'm not going to, but that would mean if our opponent did answer Noxious Gearhulk and then we drew land, we would be able, you know what, I'm going to do it. Well, no, because the Scrap Heap Scrounger is coming back this turn. So I'm going to braid the Scrap Heap Scrounger. Yeah, I suppose maybe I should have just cut the Dread Wanderer. Wasn't paying too much attention. Our opponent basically has to rip an answer to this, though. And even then, they're still in trouble, so... All right, it looks like we got there. There you go, Mono Black Aggro. Despite a little misplay by myself there at the end. Taken down. This deck is very good at beating these creature decks. Exactly why you build it. And, you know, we had game 2 in a great spot if we had drawn lands as well. But you can definitely tilt this deck to beat aggro decks. And there's a lot of aggro decks running around right now between Mono Black Aggro, Merfolk, Vampires, somewhat Pirates, depending, you know. It's got a lot working for it, and I'm a big fan. And there you go, Mono Black Aggro taken down. This is Solving Standard. This is Big Red, and I'm Corbin Hostler. Thank you for watching.